Hello, I'm Joy Gradanis, Director of Regulatory Affairs, Medical Devices at Celegence, a premier regulatory consulting firm. The FDA's final rule on regulating laboratory developed tests, or LDTs, as medical devices went into effect July 5th. So what does this mean for you as a laboratory with an LDT? First, FDA is taking a phased approach to regulating LDTs. And there are specific requirements for your quality management system in each of the next 3 years. And then an FDA submission in either 2027 or 2028, depending on the risk of your test. Now, you may have heard that some currently marketed LDTs are exempted from pre-market submissions under the new rule. That is correct. However, you're still required to manufacture under FDA's QMSR. And if you plan to make any significant changes to your test, you'll need to follow the new FDA rule on pre-market submissions as well. So one of the biggest changes under the new rule is the requirement for labs offering LDTs to update their QMS to meet FDA medical device requirements. So let's go through at a high level the specifics of what's required and when. Stage 1, by May 6, 2025, labs must update their QMS to include adverse event reporting, reporting of corrections and removals, and upkeep of complaint files. Stage 2, by May 6, 2026, labs must complete a registration and device listing for their LDT and update their QMS to include labeling and investigational use requirements. And Stage 3 is by May 6, 2027, labs must update their QMS to include the remaining FDA medical device requirements, such as design controls, purchasing controls, acceptance activities, CAPAs, and records. And finally, depending on the risk classification of the LDT, it will need to be submitted to the FDA by November 6, 2027 for tests that will fall under the PMA submission path, or by November 6, 2028, for tests that fall under the 510K or de novo pathways. So we understand what pains the new regulations will bring to the manufacturers of LDTs, especially those who are unfamiliar with FDA's regulations on QMS, device classification, and pre-market notifications or pre-market approval submissions. Most manufacturers of LDTs will be facing changes to their operating systems, registration and listing, label copy revisions, and technical documentation file remediation, not to mention preparations for FDA inspections. We can help identify what this change in regulation means specifically for your lab and what updates you'll need to make to stay compliant with the new FDA rule. First, by conducting a gap analysis of your current systems and technical documentation that were most likely designed to meet College of American Pathologists, CAP, and or the Clinical Laboratory Improvements Amendments, or CLIA, certification requirements. This analysis will identify compliance gaps to the applicable medical device regulations. Next, mapping out a 4 or 5 phased compliance plan to fill those gaps in a timeframe consistent with FDA expectation, including classification of your tests, implementing procedures, training, label copy develop, and creating technical documents, FDA submissions, and FDA inspection preparations. We can also provide an LDT QMS Kit, which includes the procedures, work instructions, and forms needed to meet the applicable medical device regulations found in Chapter 21 of the Code of Federal Regulations. We have a large team of dedicated subject matter experts in vitro diagnostic medical device regulation, FDA submissions, and QMS procedures. Besides QMS support, we can assist implementation of your plan by providing expert classification, label copy revisions, technical file remediation, planning meetings with FDA, and pre-market submissions like 510K, PMA, de novo, etc. We can prepare a plan specific to your organization and scale it appropriate to your business model and device risk profile and complexity. Feel free to contact us for a free consultation. Thank you.